I do not smell anything. So we can start off with that, right? So
Do you smell anything?
if you do, it's not our video. So just telling you. So
All right.
anyway, so do you want to start off with the things you want to discuss? You want me to start off with the things I want to discuss?
You start, because some of ours were the same.
Well, let me pull up my doc here. And so, hello everyone. I'm Dean Morgan.
And I'm Beth Morgan.
And we wanted to talk a little bit about various topics, just about us and what we're doing, who we are, and all that sort of stuff. And we talk a lot about a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I wanted to approach was, hold on, let me make sure that this video is right. I'm not sure that those other two are even on. Well, they are recording.
All of them? And without the red?
Let me make sure auto director's on. There we go. Now it should move around from one to the other. So we do talk about a lot of different things, and one of the things we wanted to talk about was places that we wanted to visit. So I'm going to ask you, where's your main place you want to go, honey? On vacation? I don't know.
Well, we always go to the beach.
Mm-hmm. We tend to go to Florida a lot.
To the beach, and we don't really like to get out in the sun a lot, just because of skin cancers and it's hot. Mm-hmm. We have a pool and we like doing that, but we try to be careful about the time of day that we get out in there. I love the beach. I love the ocean. I like to walk on it early in the morning or late in the afternoon, but I really don't want to get in it unless, of course, I'm in the Caribbean and then you can see in the ocean where you are. So
that's true.
And I love our cruises.
Yep, that's true. We do love some cruises.
Right.
We've also talked about some European vacations too, right?
Yeah. I would not be opposed to going to England, maybe Ireland, Germany, of course. Yes. Yep.
I have family in Germany who I've not seen in a very long time, so that would be interesting to go back there. And my son has also expressed a big interest in wanting to go to Germany with us if we were to go. So maybe we'll take the whole crew and do an outing and see about doing some video from Germany. What do you think about that?
That would be great.
Yeah, I think that would be nice to have different video from different places like that.
I do too.
So where locally would you like to go?
I love Charleston, South Carolina. I like doing that. I talked to you about taking the puppies. And I don't think we can go very far because we've got to get them acclimated to riding and being in different places. They're very spoiled about being at home, familiar. They're Chihuahuas too, so they would fuss a lot. Yeah.
It's very difficult to travel with pets. Right, so it's expensive and it's somewhat expensive and somewhat difficult to travel. We could probably hold them, since they are Chihuahuas and so small, we could probably hold them in our arms, but if it's a long flight, it becomes problematic.
Yep. What else?
What about the changes we just heard about on the visa requirements to Italy? Can you talk about what you heard about that?
About the minimum amount?
Yes, for expats.
Yeah, for listening to a YouTube channel, and the couple had been in Italy and were just loving it and doing their YouTube, getting it off the ground, and now they found out that they're going to have to move to somewhere else because of the requirements from the consulate in Houston. And I'm assuming that they were from Houston and found out, I don't know, just a few weeks ago that it went from
32,000 euros to 64,000
euros. So
and they said they just couldn't do that.
And was that they needed that passive income to be able to stay there.
Right.
And
according to the rules, you can't even work in Italy and have a resident visa, that kind of visa, without having that amount of passive income.
Yeah. And so I'm sure it's different for everywhere. I know we were listening to a couple, they did a video on their YouTube channel about the process of going to Mexico. And it's different in different areas and what the required money was that you needed to make, and getting a residence see visa there.
I think it was a specific visa type that you had to go, that you had to.
If you're going to live there.
Right, and that's actually a good point. I don't think we ever talked about doing an expat living arrangement because we've got too much family and the puppies and all that sort of thing, and the house we bought, we would like our house, and so doing the expat may not be right for us. But we had talked about slow travel, which have a fellow channel that we watch a lot, and that's called Grounded Life. Hold that.
Grounded Life Retirement Finance.
Well, they have 4 different channels.
Well, the one that we listen to is the finance. Hello, what are y'all doing?
Continue. So the one we watch is Grounded Life.
It's called
Grounded Life Finance, and that's one of them. And then there's Grounded Life Retirement.
There's Grounded Life Cruises.
Right, and then Asia with Allie is her
Right,
other
this
channel.
Grounded Life Retirement Travel is the one that we usually get lots of our information on. If
Yeah.
you haven't gone there, go. It's wonderful. Thank you, Allie and Rob, for all
Yeah.
the generous information that you give out. And they also have classes online that you can purchase, which both of them were great. And but they have the Cruises, Grounded Life Retirement Channel, Grounded Life Travel, which is a lot of that travel is on trains, and it's so interesting. And then too with Allie in Asia.
And speaking of other channels, we actually have 4 channels ourselves, right? So we also have Savings and Suitcases, which is a travel channel, in addition to this one, which is Coldstream Cottage. And then we have another channel called Morgansoft, which is science and technology and sports related. So we encourage you to go there. And while you're here, if you would like, share, and subscribe, that would help us with our channel.
Thank you so much.
But we are glad that you're here watching. And one of the things that we wanted to talk about too was we're kind of in the middle. Beth has been in retirement for a while now. And on and off. She would be in retirement, and then she'd work a little bit, and then she'd be in retirement. And it finally got to the point where the retirement income she was making was being reduced by the income she was making from working, to the point that we were actually paying more taxes on what she was actually working for than we were getting back in retirement. So it was finally, I had to say, look, you just need to go ahead and retire, right? And let's do it that way. So she finally retired. I'm a little bit younger than she is, so I have a few more years left to work. And so that we're talking about when my retirement should begin. And again, if I were the smart guy in the crowd and I had been saving up for 40 years, then maybe I'd just retire today. But that's, unfortunately, I'm not a financial guru. I'm good at a lot of things. That's not generally one of them. So we're still working on the retirement aspect. But that's something that certainly we hope to do soon. I hope to get retired probably in the next 18 to 24 months is what we're looking at. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing these channels, right, is to supplement some of our income, as well as we just to really enjoy sharing with everyone the different things that we're doing and everything that's going on. What do you say?
One of the things on Morgansoft in the sports area is our son-in-law and our daughter and our son also and his wife, they are interested in hockey, football, baseball, you name it. Pretty much my son-in-law is the sports guru there, but they have a little channel called The Final Whistle.
Well, it's actually a podcast.
I mean, it's a podcast.
It's on the Morgansoft channel, yes.
Called On The Final Whistle. And it's about sports. It's right now it's football, and then they'll go into the next sport. Our son and his wife like hockey. And our son is also doing these models, and you play a game, and I don't know what that is, so I'm sorry, but it was really neat. So
I was actually kidding my son-in-law. I said, well, if you can't figure out another sport, you could always do tiddlywinks, right? Because he'll watch any sport under the sun, any sport. Whether it's bowling or hockey or whatever it might be, he'll watch it.
Races.
Anything, right?
But we love you.
Sports is his thing.
Yeah.
And we would like to see, our intent is to get them involved in this so that eventually they will be able to do it on their own channel and have their own income from it and maybe get into it full time. So
Right now, they're just having a blast with
yeah,
it. So,
they're just enjoying it a lot. So you had a few things that you wanted to talk about as well.
well, we have an upcoming cruise.
We do.
We'll be going in the next couple of months. We'll be going to.
Well, what do you think we like cruises so much? What's the appeal of the cruise?
It's relaxing. All my entertainment is there if I want it or don't. They have shows, they have lots of fun activities, they have wonderful dining venues, they have music, just anything you want to listen to, just about music, dancing. And then if you want to do excursions, that's wonderful. We've been on about 8 now. So probably there are maybe a port that I don't get off at. But all of them have something interesting. And you get to see different little aspects of a country or an island. And the ocean in the Caribbean is so beautiful. I'm just in awe of how gorgeous it is. We live on the Atlantic coast, and we have beautiful coastlines, but the water is a little murky. You know, you can't see to the water, and that's why I don't get in it. But
well, I think it's also about the fact that the cruises are a canned thing, all
except for your
inclusive, right?
excursions
So
or the extra dining venues you'd want to go to. But good grief, you've got places open until after midnight if you want pizza, or you can get room service, and they have shops on board. And you can go to the casinos, and it's just, to me, a package. And you pay your package, and then you go, and then you get to meet different people on the cruise, on the islands, and it's just been fun for us. It's always been fun. They have themes sometimes on cruises.
well, I think that we've talked about possibly doing a package to Europe or something where we would have a package deal where it's, and we actually have some friends who went on one of those, and they weren't real fond of the whole idea of packaged deals or whatever, but they said they had a blast. They actually had a blast with it. And we were thinking about that. And then we did do a vacation last year in which we just took off and went to our friends for one night, and then we went off to another place in the south, and we went, I think, to Helen, Georgia, and then went to Asheville.
Georgia before Helene went through. We went to Asheville before Helene went through, and then we came back down. And
it was actually just a couple of months before Helene came through Asheville, and so we were watching what happened there and going, "Oh my God, we were just there, right?"
It was just horrible, but that was fun.
So, what else do you want to talk about with these good people?
Let's see. I talked about traveling with the puppies and our cruise. We haven't talked about this year's anniversary trip.
So we're going to be going on a cruise, and it's going to be on the Margaritaville at Sea
Islander.
And
we're really excited about
And one of our favorite channels is La Loca and Lido Loca. I am corrected. But Tony there, he'll tell you all about various cruises, and he does a lot of cruising. That's how he makes his money. He's very good at it. And Don's channel?
Don's Family Vacations.
And Jad, Don's Family Vacations does a lot of cruises as well. Those are two that we really like watching. They give us a lot of good information about cruises, and we enjoy watching those. And hopefully, and we will have video on the Savings and Suitcases channel, our Suitcases and Savings. We'll have a set of videos on our experience on this cruise, because we want to share with you so that you'll have a chance to see what it looks like.
From a different
perspective.
We're not professional at the cruising, so this will be our perspective as, I guess, older adults.
Seniors getting on board what is actually a pretty nice vessel. It's a very old vessel, 25 years old.
They have totally redone everything. And there's some views out there, I don't know, people liked it about this and didn't like about that, but you have to remember that this is an older ship. It's probably going to be really interesting to people who liked Jimmy Buffett. I love Jimmy Buffett. And so it'll be very nostalgic for us to get to go to that.
We will not, however, recreate one of his songs, and that's God's Own Drunk. If anybody's ever heard that song, you'll know what I'm talking about. We're not going to do that. We do love Jimmy Buffett and his songs, and so we're really kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I think that's a kind of a specialty cruise.
Yeah. I think we're probably going to listen to his music all the way down to Tampa.
So we'll be
but we're going to go to Savannah for a night before we go on to Tampa. We're going to leave and go there and go out to dinner and have a nice day, and then we'll leave and go to Tampa and spend the night, and then do the embarkation there at the port.
And one of the ports we're getting off at will be in Mexico, and I'm really looking forward to that because I haven't been to that. We haven't been to that port before, right? Progresso. So that'll be interesting.
We'll go to Key West, and then we'll go probably to Cozumel, and then to Progresso.
Yes.
I think.
And we've been to Cozumel and Key West before.
We haven't been in a little while there, so I'm looking forward to going back doing that.
We haven't been going on a lot of cruises in the last few years, and we've been pretty honed in on Royal Caribbean and Carnival. We haven't really gone on any other lines. Comment below if you've been on other lines that you would recommend, because I really would like to hear more back about what other cruise lines you enjoyed and why. So if you could leave comments, that'd be great.
Yeah, because we haven't been on Norwegian or MSC or Princess.
There's a lot of different places. And her father always wanted to go to Alaska. And he's 90 now. And he's been wanting to go to Alaska. He's gotten too old to really go to Alaska now. That would be something that I wouldn't mind doing, is going on an Alaska cruise at some point. So
we also wanted to talk about the layoffs in government and the rising cost going on.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to talk about it,
but
it probably needs to be talked about.
The thing that concerns me about the layoffs in government is that they're not using a scalpel to get rid of people. They're not carving out people who really don't need to be there. They're just laying off everybody. And that actually showed up in a kind of a bad way this week, when some of the nuclear safety employees were just laid off. And they were people who were on probationary periods, but they'd been hired because of their expertise in nuclear safety.
Yep.
And so we just lost a whole bunch of people, which they don't even know how to get them back in. They want to rehire them, and they can't figure out where they went, who they were, or where they went to. Let's bulldoze the whole thing, and then we'll pick up the pieces later. And I don't think that's a very good way to deal with our government.
I think not. We're both in agreement that there are some areas that probably do need to be cut.
Absolutely.
But be careful how you cut, that you're not losing services that you need, very critical services.
So if you can imagine, like at the VA, the VA has a lot of doctors who've been there a very long time, and doctors are hard to come by. And if you fire a doctor, he can always go out and be a doctor in the private sector and make 3 times as much as he was making at the VA. So that's a bad idea. Firing doctors in any of these agencies is probably a pretty bad idea. And that includes the CDC. And you're talking about the CDC being a place where that helps us avoid getting diseases, pretty horrible diseases too. Ebola, for instance.
Also, the CDC makes us aware of things and diseases that may be coming, what you can do about it, about the vaccinations, and they do the research.
And I think that, again, we've been watching the news, and I like to watch the politics and everything, but that's not a real big fan of politics for the most part, but she likes to keep up with it, and we both do. And I know that there are going to be people who are watching us from outside the country, and I apologize if this is not really of interest to you, but it should be, because the things that happen in the U.S. will have effects throughout the world, right? So if we're in disarray, then you can expect that the economy is going to go badly. And when it does, that's going to ripple throughout the world. And so we want to make sure that we're not causing more problems than we're solving. And I think that's the biggest thing that I see right now, is I feel like we're causing more problems both internally and externally than we're actually solving, just by having such a bulldozer effect. And the other thing that I am concerned about is about our data, right? So the government houses a lot of our data. In fact, every American alive or dead right now has got their information is somewhere in the government. And we have non-elected people who are coming in and extracting that data for whatever reasons. And that kind of concerns me. I don't like the idea that my personally identifiable information or my public, personal health information is being utilized for something I didn't authorize. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of things that are going on in the U.S. right now that are concerned to us. And that's kind of one reason we were talking about slow travel, to tie it back to something we were talking about earlier. Is that's one reason why we were talking about doing slow travel is not necessarily because we want to give up our citizenship in the United States, but we might want to just be outside the United States for a little while and doing that sort of thing. And we still haven't kind of taken that completely off the table, but
we think that it would be interesting culturally for the experience to be in another country,
Yes.
in another culture,
Absolutely.
to learn about that culture, their food, their government, their all of the beautiful history that would be in a country, say Thailand, Cambodia.
right, their food,
Their-
their history.
Right,
Yeah,
everything.
and the things that we kind of, from a slow travel perspective. And if you don't know what slow travel is, the ability to go to a country for 30 or 90 days, 30, 90 days, stay there on a visa, and then move on to another country. And so people who do slow travel basically go and stay in country for several months. And they kind of get to the country and then they arrange to go to another country and stay for months there as well. And so they get more of the ability to kind of in country and enjoy the place where they're living and learn more about it in depth, right? And they don't have to rush around. When we take a vacation, what do? We go and then
We leave on Friday or Saturday morning.
And then we come back
we
the next.
speed to our location, and then we'll do some things there. Anyway, Dean has to go back to work on that following Monday or
Right.
whatever day he has to go back to work. So we're usually limited time as to how much fun we can have.
Right. Well, and the limited time for fun, but also because we're in such a limited time, we rush around to see everything we can, and we rush around to see things, and as a result, it's kind of hectic having a vacation instead of relaxing. Whereas with slow travel, if you don't want to go anywhere that day, you just don't go anywhere. You just hang out, right? Or you go and sit on your balcony and watch the sunrise,
And
right?
chill.
And chill. That's and that actually is the way that I would want to travel. And we had thought about that. We still might do it.
There's a lot of things we need to work out because we don't want to leave our pets for 30, 60, 90 days. There are countries that I think you can now, different countries, you can apply to be there longer than that if you want to. So they do have accommodations for those. And it's not a work visa. It's a living there visa. So
Yeah.
we still have lots to learn about that.
That's true.
The other thing about that too, and I just will bring it up, is that I am older than you. You're younger
Yes.
than me. You haven't retired, and so I get concerned sometimes about my ability to travel. In that, am I going to be physically able? How long am I going to be physically able to travel? And so I feel like I'm doing pretty good now, but you don't know.
And I could, I guess, go and slow travel without her, but I don't think that would go over well at home, so probably won't happen.
No, I don't think so.
But we'll be going together if we go at all. But I think we're going to specify, be specific on how we're going to go and when we're going to go. We may go. We talked about possibly going to Mexico and staying for a month and taking the puppies with us. And so we may do that.
That's probably the closest to
Yeah.
us to do something like that, and that we could go somewhere and be able to take the puppies, and they're not puppies; they're 3 years old.
And the good thing about going to Mexico is it's still, if we go in the right area of Mexico. It's still on the East Coast, so it's still on the Eastern Standard Time,
Right.
and I can work from Mexico, right? And I work remotely, so that would work out real well for me.
So that would be nice if we
Yeah,
could do
yeah.
that, and maybe think about applying for a longer term to visit for a little while.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for today, unless you have something else to talk about. No, thank you for watching, and we do appreciate you visiting the channel and watching us. And we'd like to invite you to subscribe, like, and share this video. And we will see you soon.
So until next time, bye.
Bye.